Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Trotter Alexander, one of the 8 artists that's going to be exhibiting at the ShadowBoxX Gallery at the 21st of February, Saturday. Essence is a group show out of 8 artists that are celebrated for their Black excellency and their artistic visionaire. I am honored to be here as one of the 8 selected artists to be celebrated. Thank you so much, ShadowBoxX Gallery, for having me here. I hope to see you guys on the 21st.
I mentioned that John Mark and I were in the collective residency, not the collective, the Connect residency. It's a virtual residency, and I would encourage all of you to, they have it on an annual basis or so. I think around this time they start to do it. So maybe connect with either me or John Mark Agbabiako or Trotter to talk about joining that. But Trotter is in John Mark and I were in cohort number 4 a couple of 3 years back, and now I believe you were Trotter. You're in cohort 5, which 4 was really good. I mean, I don't know about 5, but 4 was really good. Anyway, I was so happy that I found I saw his work. I was looking for a local artist to complement the team of people that John Mark originally nominated for this, but I don't know if this is the piece you'd like to talk about, but I'm here, so I thought we'd start here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to talk about all the pieces
Okay.
So this piece was inspired off of Aretha Franklin in her older years. It was a combination of me listening to her music and me listening to Donald Glover with this electro Afrocentric neo soul vibe going on. And for this era of work that I typically was involving myself in, I was kind of integrating my subconscious mind with my conscious mind. So that meaning like letting the music take me versus me actually having to say something on top of that. So it started with the transparent figure in the background with this woman screaming, and that was just an emotion that I felt at the time. I wanted to initiate the piece in the process with like a bunch of cool tones, and after a while of me just looking through Pinterest, Google, just looking through my inspirations through my photos, I saw this one picture of a way older Aretha Franklin and how she just kind of shined in the middle of the composition. And I thought that the way that her skin was glowing red was just a beautiful complementary like aspect to the established color palettes that I already had. So to have her like scream in pride and just like in profundity, I just think like something that resonated with me. So I made sure to make sure that her skin tones were radiating warm tones and tonics, and it being juxtaposed with like these blues. I wanted to emulate these feelings of falling, supported by the textures of the paint drips that are falling down. I wanted to illuminate a sense of dreams, subconscious. Um, yeah, so that was just something that I was more or less experimenting with the idea of collaborating my conscious self with my unconscious self. And yeah, so that was more or less like the process and thoughts behind me making this piece.
Amazing. So Trotter, the juxtaposition of those warm tones and the cooler tones, I really am drawn to that. And specifically, if you look at the gallery, these are very warm lights, and then we have very cold lights hitting the ceiling, and the same kind of feel. That juxtaposition is like an important transition. I almost want to turn off the cold for those, but
Oh,
um,
yeah, I'm sorry. My Bluetooth connected to a different device. Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can.
Someone asked about the mixed medium. So for me, I'm not necessarily married to any medium per se. It's a mixture of everything. Like every time you see my piece, it's going to be a mixture of acrylics oils, with pastels, because everything inherently has its own different textures. So, later in my work, I'm becoming more intentional with like my rhetoric. If you guys do see my works more as this Zoom call progresses, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I do typically, when it comes to Black people, well, I only paint my people. I reserve the oil mediums for our skin tones because I feel like Black people always have a rich surplus of color within our skins. And I feel like when you paint with acrylic, it oxidizes and then it kind of loses its color when like it dries over time. So I think that oil was always best for me because it preserves the genius of color that we possess. So, I don't think that, she would be as radiant if it was like any other medium. So her skin tones are oil, and then her clothes are acrylic. And then for the midtones, or like for the edge lights, I put pastel like pencil on it, so you can really have that rich texture. Everything to me should be stimulating. Everything should have like its own focal point. So I always try my best to like take those mediums and utilize it like evenly so it can serve its purpose for the piece as best as it can.
Amazing. Thank you